Good morning, everybody. Ross Skorzewski here, and we are excited about this beautiful Wednesday morning. It's hump day. It's time for another Wednesday morning cup of crazy. And I would ask that you all do me a favor, grab your cups, because I got a little bit of crazy that I'm going to fill your cup up with this morning. It's been a crazy morning at the Skorzewski house, and thus the reason for this little kind of special edition of the Wednesday morning cup of crazy. Going to be talking to you today about vulnerability and transparency. Two words, great words, but not always the easiest to execute and not always the easiest to bring to the table. But before we get into that, let's talk about that little episode of crazy that spilled into my world this morning, roughly around 5 a.m. in the morning. It was most beautiful. So like I said, let's take a drink, shall we? Time for a little cup of crazy. 5 a.m. Skorzewski house, downstairs, roaming around. All of a sudden I hear my wife, Leslie, yell my name. I'm like, there's no way she's actually yelling my name. She's like, Ross! And when all of a sudden I'm thinking, something's wrong with the kids, right? Something's, oh my gosh, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? Could have been one of the animals, I don't know. So I get upstairs and all of a sudden she closed the door in my face. I'm like, then what are you yelling for me for? And I come up the stairs and now you close the door in my face. She's like, there's a bat in the room. And I gotta tell you right now, there are like 3 things that I absolutely despise. And yes, I'm sorry, but I am that kind of I despise bats, I despise snakes, and I despise a load. Think about it, spiders. Snakes, bats, and spiders. And they just don't belong in your house. But here's the thing, they go on this like orbital tour of the room over and over and over. Ceiling fan, it's on, right? Blades are spinning. I'm trying to just catch this thing with a few towels as it buzzes by my head. And all of a sudden I can't get it. Well, one of the other doctors that works here is like, well, why don't you just use a tennis racket? You know, can imagine that. And all of a sudden the head comes right through the racket. It doesn't sound like a really interesting situation. I'd rather just try a towel, as insane as that is. So I'm trying and trying and trying, and I can't get the stupid bat. So I got frustrated. My wife's downstairs while this thing just... So I take one of these towels, I ball it up because I'm frustrated. And I just, at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I got a bat in my room and not really thinking right. All of a sudden I take it and I chuck it right at the bat in the direction of what? The ceiling fan. I didn't hit the fan though. I hit the little drawstring, and as I hit that drawstring, it went up into the fan, and all of a sudden, it was like the powering down of the Death Star in my room this morning. And all of a sudden I heard, and then the power went off to our bedroom. I can't get the power back on, all this other crazy stuff. So here we are. Yes, it's a beautiful thing in the morning. It's Wednesday morning cup of crazy, and there's still no power in my bathroom or my room. And it's crazy. Everybody else has got powers, so we're good. Just a little bit of, crazy for you. I'm the guy that does the snowblower. I'm the guy that does the towel at a ceiling fan. What else am I going to end up doing here? I don't know. I would steer clear of me. I'm like a lightning rod, it just seems. When it rains, it pours. How about a little bit vulnerability? There you have it. Okay, we've just been having some good episodes, some great Wednesday mornings, just talking about life, talking about growth strategies, talking about words that really can be meditated on, that we can chew on and process and think about. And really, it's all about execution, and it's all about action. And in a part of a growth strategy, it also comes time, as we talk, necessary endings for death of negative behavior patterns, getting out of the cycle is stupid, and pursuing right thinking, right living, and all those crazy things that we long for so that we can bring about the best representative of who we are to our world every day, okay? Because the world deserves that. You deserve it. I deserve it. So vulnerability and transparency. I want to talk about this because I think it's really absolutely crucial for maximizing your personal growth development. Your strategy is having, and I've always said this kind of even from the beginning, having these like-minded people that you can do life with. One would say, well, I hope it's your spouse, or maybe a best friend, or a coworker, a boss, CEO, whatever that might be. Maybe it's a part of your local church. You're a part of a women's group or a guy's group. But you've got this one or two people in your life Hopefully, like I said, you can do this even with your spouse, because we know that really when it comes down to executing those three questions, what are you doing to develop yourself? What are you doing to develop your family and others around you? Yes, starts with self, but it doesn't just stay there. And I know it's frustrating at times because not everybody grows together. Not everybody does personal growth and development with each other. And sometimes that creates just a little bit of a hiccup. But when it comes to vulnerability and transparency, I want to really kind of think about this in two ways, okay? For yourself, to maximize your growth strategy is who's in your life? Who can you be vulnerable with? Who can you be transparent? Who can you bring those secrets? I don't want to say secrets, but just those elements of your life. Who can you bring those to talk to that'll hear you and that'll hold you accountable, that will be a part of that growth strategy that you're implementing in your life, okay? I don't think everybody needs to know your business, though. That I don't. I don't think everybody needs to see that vulnerable side of you or that transparent side of you, because at times, really, there's some people that just don't have any business knowing about your personal life. And I think today, especially with social media, everybody has the ability to go on some social media platform. We see it all the time, and it's highly irritating, and people just spew, they vomit, and they think, well, honesty is the best policy. I'm just letting the world know out there for my, support system. And no. You're just verbally vomiting, and nobody wants to see that, and it gets really irritating. But the idea of vulnerability being that kind of word that is used to take yourself out into the world around you, where you just blah, blah, blah on the world around you, is not the vulnerability I'm talking about. It's a side of you, it's a side of me that should be able to find trust and honesty within a person that has our best interest in mind. And the problem is there have been a lot of people out there who have had these types of people in their life only for it to go in a bad direction. Well, we say, yeah, you can trust me, you can tell me anything, and all of a sudden, you air your dirty laundry to that person in the hopes that they'll hold you accountable and that they will walk you through this difficult time in life, and all of a sudden you find out that they mentioned it to Joe, Bobby, and Sue, and everybody else, and now people are gun-shy from being vulnerable and transparent because we've lost the ability to really be people of integrity, to be people of our word to one another. So vulnerability and transparency. Yes, I think it's absolutely crucial that we do have those people in our lives. Well, what if it's not my spouse? Well, you gotta, I don't know, I probably won't even, okay, Ross Allen, are you gonna say it? Okay, honesty is the best policy. Sure. How's that working for you? That's why I think it's really good for a woman to have a woman friend in her life that she can talk to. Not that the husband can't, right? Sometimes the husband shouldn't hear everything. The same thing with a guy. And I know this is going to get me in trouble. Honesty is the best policy. There are just some things that we don't need to take home. We don't need to verbally vomit, to emote all over our spouses or even our kids. Find that person. And if you've been burnt before and you've had people burn those bridges because you've trusted and they could not honor their word to you, I would encourage you to let yourself step out in faith and find that individual. There are people out there, okay? Just remember, if you share those deepest sides of you and you're looking for that vulnerability, sometimes those obstacles that are getting in your way from truly being able to experience maximum growth when it comes to personal growth and development, executing that first question, what are you doing to develop yourself? Get that one person. Well, I just don't trust. I know. I've been there over and over. And I've got one in particular, three, we'll say three, but one in particular that I really just open up my heart to and that I can put anything out there. And it's like he carries that burden with me, not because I'm weighing him down, but because he's actually been where I've been and he's seen success in his life, in his personal growth and development is actually successful. So he has the right to speak in my life, therefore creating an environment where I can be vulnerable and transparent with him. Said it before, and I'll say it again. Be careful who you let speak into your life. Not everybody should be speaking into your life. Not everybody's got a proven track record of personal growth and development. Some of them are still doing it. That's why if the person that's involved in my life, that speaks into my life for personal growth and development, has a proven track record. I see it in him. He's light years beyond where I'm at. But the beautiful thing is he's walking with me. We have this saying, we're going to do life together. And that's the kind of person I hope that you can find to be involved in your life, that has your best interest in mind. Not so you can walk around keeping secrets. That's not what I'm saying. But that can actually get you to a place where you can feel vulnerable and transparent, and get you to a place where that desire to grow personally can really be fostered because you've got someone who's doing life with you. And yes, I do hope that if your spouse and your kids, that they can do this growth track with you. But remember, vulnerability and transparency doesn't always mean that you take everything that's going on the inside of you and go and share it with the rest of the world. That's just not what it means. Vulnerability, listen to this, the quality or state of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. I want you to be vulnerable. I don't want to beat the dead horse. But don't be so gullible with your vulnerability that you take it out there and put it out for everybody to hear or see. Guard your heart, guard your mind, guard your thoughts, and trust me, that transparency and truth and that honesty and integrity that you're looking for, you'll find it. You'll find it. But just get to that place in life where you can trust. Because it's better to do life with people walking alongside you than keeping all of those thoughts and those potential hang-ups locked up in here, because it messes with people. You're not meant to always carry this stuff by yourself. Vulnerability and transparency. It's your Wednesday morning cup of crazy with me. I got to figure out a ceiling fan situation. I got to get electricity back to a room somewhere, somehow today before it gets dark so we can see. Hopefully, life doesn't spin out of control by Ross choosing stupid with some other thing. It's not going to involve a snowblower and a ceiling fan. I promise you that. Look forward to seeing you next Wednesday for another edition of Wednesday Morning Cup of Crazy with me, Ross Alan Skrzyjewski. Thanks for tuning in today.